vehicle today with the book of John. John 14:1. It says, let your heart be troubled. Let your heart not be troubled. You believe in God, also in me. And that's the word of God. Our themes today is concerning the crisis we are facing. Many are the issues which are being faced around, and we are also having a lot of issues from our families because of the timeline we are having today. We are only going to discuss one phase, then the next time we shall talk another phase. Today we are tackling the education part of it. It's a crisis in our, not only in our homes, also in our society, also in the nation. And it needs a lot of argument, it needs a lot of discussion, it needs a lot of perception, it needs a lot of diligence, because we are hardering a generation where the only wealth you can give them is education. So right now, I will welcome my brother, the chairman of Kama, St. Clement, to have his introduction as we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Good evening, gentlemen. Habari yenu. Karibuni sana to this forum that is our men's fellowship, ACK St. Clement Men's Fellowship. This is something that we do each and every time, every month, once every month. And I'm delighted to see you and joining us today. So as my brother has just mentioned, we are here to discuss about our education system, and we try to see which are the challenges that we face and what are the solutions. And therefore, just to highlight, we are not here to criticize the current education system, but we are here to appreciate and try to see what else can be done to make it better. And therefore, when we start the discussion, I'm looking forward to see your contribution so that we can try to see which are the opportunities that lie ahead for our children. And therefore, I want us to break this into 3 segments, whereby we have the church. As a church, which roles do we play? As a society, which role does the society play? And also the government. And I would wish that once you get the opportunity, kindly discuss it in totality, and we try to see which are some of the best opportunities that we have for our children. To start with, we have the church, and we as the church, we are men of St. Clement. We are the church. Which is our role as a church? Should we play in supporting the education of our children? And I wish to have this session open, that we may be able to discuss. And if I start with you, my brother, what do you think is the role of the church when it comes to the education system?
On the law of the church, on the law of the church, first of all, the church is there to guide us spiritually, and also to give a pathway where it can bring up somebody who is down, either mentally or physically. So when it comes to education, the church is a pivot place where it anchors the society and the government. In which way? Most of the families who come to fellowship in the church, they have their needs, and one of their needs is their children education. And when it comes to the church, a church is a non-profitable organization. So it doesn't deal with profit. It doesn't deal with upkeeps or handouts. So the best thing it can bring, it can start nurturing the ones who are in the church compound. And this is the young generation. When you see the youth, like the ex-cadets who just accomplished the Form 4 the previous year, they are just roaming around. But we can bring those children back to school, to the society, in an education way. By one, you can try to bring that young man, that young girl, in this way. There are church schools or Sunday school where he or she can practice to nurture the youngs. Another thing, there is also the activities in the church. In the church, there are a lot of activities. You can inhabit those young people in the church so that they can work with you, not in a pay mode, but in a way to interact with them, knowing before they progress to the next level, where are they supposed to know their move. Another thing is for forums like this, the seminars, the fellowship, and also the part where you have a one-on-one discussion with those young people. Sorry. And these young people have a lot of ideas. The only thing they lack the material things, which is the finances. And then you are supposed to understand this. The church, it has the docket of praying and dedicating the families so that they have a well-being to their children. In this way, they can be able to progress in life, because whatever is being seen in our lives physically is a prayer mode or the manifestation or from the man of God. So the church also needs to support these families and also needs to support this young one or the education sector by praying more. Know this, the devil knows how to split the apples. Right now there is a crisis in the country, and that's why the chairman said we are not criticizing anybody, but it can be played like this. There is a schooliness in the church, but do we accommodate the less privileged? No. Why? Because even the institution in the church is underfunded by the government. So those issues, when they begin to arise, you need to nullify some of the deliberate issues which are brought forth from our angles and try to spearhead the issues where you can see it's a noticeable or something which is beneficial to the ones who wants the education part of it. That's all.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. I think I hope kila mtu ameshika what we are asking. What is the role of the church in playing part in our education system? Anyone? No one else who want to contribute on that? Okay. We have now the society, because I want us to get into the real issue of the current challenges. The society also has a role that it should play in ensuring that our education system stands, and I want someone to participate on that, someone to mention on that. What is the role of our society in supporting the education? Yes, Mr. Kariuki, kindly pass the microphone to Kenneth Isaac.
Okay, thank you. I think the society as a whole needs to uphold the students, maybe who are like completing the grade 9, maybe who are home because they don't have maybe the school fees. There was a time when we used to say that the child belongs to the society. So if there was such a need of any maybe student who is at home because of lack of school fees, I think we can cater for it as a society. We pull up the resources, because I think in whichever school that the student will have maybe to go and further his or her studies, finances are needed, because you cannot just take a child in any school without any finances. So the society should maybe mobilize, maybe through the elected members of parliament, maybe the MCAs, and the society as a whole, maybe to pull up resources so that we can maybe help a child who has been at home, maybe because of lack of fees. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Karaoke. Yes, someone else? What is the role of the society in ensuring that education moves on? Society inacheza role gani? Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, just like the theme of the sitting is how we can critique the current system, both positive as we manage or we try to mitigate what is the shortcomings and what are the possible solutions, as much as we may not be able to implement them. But it is our right as active citizen to look at what are the shortcomings of our curriculum, current curriculum, and what are the possible solutions. Now, to the theme, if the moderator will allow me to touch on the church, then to the community, I think I've been given that. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you. Now, when you look at our national goal of education, by the end of the learning system, a nation expects a citizen who is moral, upright, who is ethical, and also who is able to reflect spiritual development or moral development to that society. As a church, it is the moral compass of any society. It gives, and it is there to give direction on what is right and wrong, as we expect that morality is defined within a certain community. Like when we talk about morality is defined in a certain community, it means that what we believe it is right here, it might be wrong in another community. So that is why when we have a church with its guideline, we might get it right that this is what we expect, and through that it is able for us to have the right morality which enhances spiritual development. Now, if the church takes its first step in this educational realignment through its well-organized network, through their established institution as educational communities, they are able to give insights or shortcoming of this to implement the curriculum. Now, it also is going to ensure that we have the curriculum that reflects spiritual development and, just as I mentioned before, morality development. Now, when I look at the community, how can a community, or what are the expectations of the community to the education? Now, when you look at the community, as we come up with a curriculum is there to address the problem that the community has or it exists in the near future. So if education is not able to solve those problems, then we deem that curriculum unfit to that society. So for us to say that the curriculum is fit for us as a society, Kenyan society, because our problem may or may not be the same as those in Uganda or Tanzania or any other community. So the best curriculum for us is the one that is able to solve our really issues today, day-to-day's problem. Now, as we look at that, CBC, as we have it right now, it is trying to solve a problem whereby previously we had rote learning, whereby you just have to cram and you get the grades, and you are told that education is the key to success. But it has, over time, it has now been proven that now we want skills. Now, CBC is trying to come up with the skills, and those skills, it means that the society is lacking those skills. So CBC is trying to fill the gap of what are the current problems we are facing, and is it possible that we are able to address those problems, challenges, with our curriculum. Now, when you look at the CBC, it is trying to engage much of not only cognitive aspect, that is thinking, but also it is giving the learner how to be able to maneuver within the that is the resources, locally available resources, to survive in a way that he or she, after in any other education stage, when he exits, is able to be reliable in a sense that is able to come up or to sustain himself in the job market, or in any way that is able to offer those skills that they have attained. From that point, you realize that now the education system right now, if it is well implemented, it should be able to address one unemployment problem. In our society, we have those skills, we have those gaps, we know that they exist. So that is where the society is able to look at, and it is able, the curriculum is able to solve that problem of filling in the gaps that we are observing, or we have them at the moment. Now, how can the society now try to help the curriculum so that it is able to be sustained, and the objective to be achieved, that we, the graduate of that curriculum, are beneficial to the society? One is that the society should be able to give the learner, because curriculum need learners. So parents, the community, administration should be able to avail those learners. How? One, by building schools. We need schools. If there is no schools, we need to establish schools. If there is no resources, the community needs to avail those resources. So that when you look at, there was another discussion, another national debate about some regions have developed their schools, others have not. So you look at it, is like those communities, they were not able to identify the problem, that the curriculum is there, it needed to be implemented, and one of the issues is that the school. So the society need to support the curriculum by providing resources like school, establishing school, providing security, because we agree that security cannot be provided by the government alone. The society need to play a role in it. Kama kuna mtu mwizi, kama kuna muuaji, it is among the society. So it is the society to do that. Two, as the senior member of the society, we must also project what we expect from our learners. If the senior member of the society are not in any way projecting moral authority, they are not giving spiritual guideline to our minors, then they may not get the difference between attending a school or not just remaining at home. So the community, the senior members of our society, they also have to be aware that there are always a board where learners or the minor of the society are copying from, are imitating, and they are aware that what the senior member of the society is doing, it is always the right thing according to them. And when you deviate, then even that education will not solve our problem. So the members of the society must be aware that learners, they are always not at school, but all over in our lives, in our day-to-day engagement. So we must be observant as senior members. We must be able to protect the education start at home. And if at home it's not happening, don't expect it to happen at school. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. And it's true that we should be able, now the society should be able to provide schools for our learners. Let's think in this line. In our country, we have different levels of education, and each and every level has its own challenges. And as our brother has mentioned, that each and every curriculum should be able to tackle a certain challenge that we face, or a problem that we face. And if you look in our country, we currently have the CBC, we have the TVETs, we have the universities, and we have also international schools. And all these, they are part of our society. Now that my brother has mentioned about the CBC, which are the current challenges do we face in CBC? Because I know some of us here, we already have children in CBC. We have kids who are already undergoing the CBC as a curriculum. Which are some of the challenges do you feel that we face when we are handling this? So that we can try to see now the challenge, and also we try to see which are the possible solutions.
Let me talk
Yes.
concerning the CBC and the system which are still on the exit, which is the 844 system. In the modern society, there is a lot of commotion when it comes to bringing a fresh thing or trying to revive something which was kind of going to extinction and trying to bring it in awakeness. Why am I saying this? The education sectors which we have been having, our brother said there, students were taught how to cram. So that's the theory part of it. Towards the practical part of it, there was nothing which was done. I think practical was done after you have done the tertiary, and now you are searching for the job. And that's why you hear somebody who wants to employ you asking for experience, of which the experience you have is the theoretical part of it. But here comes a system which is dealing with the practical part of it. And this practical part of it, they are the teachers or the people who are now undertaking the curriculum, they are taught the theory part of it. And now they are tried to be switched to practical part of it. So the commotion you are seeing right now in the education sector is the change of is the change of God, the change of mind, because nobody is understanding the other. And when we talk about raising more institutes or schools, we need to ask ourselves, why are we bringing, or why are we investing more to more schools, which are the buildings, but are we investing to these young minds? Because one time I was a young boy, the thing which I used to have, or the capacity I could handle the theory part of it, it could give me pressure. What about the practical if it was added on? The children you are seeing around, they are so much pressured because they are now undertaking practical part of it, which is a kind of a strenuous curriculum to them. My view is on the society of the urban ones, not the rural ones. If a child is being told to mold a pot and present it on Monday, where will she or he get the pot ready by Monday, and you are even in a place like 44? There is no clay soil, there is no molding soil. So the parent, we go a mile to search for modeling clay, which is an expense you need to buy. And this expense is not budgeted in the family. And that's why you are seeing all these systems which are being brought in the education system, they are one way or other crashing one to the other. Because now you move to the family. This parent was not ready to buy the modeling clay or the whatever, or the cartons, or those things which are being requested to make for the practical session on Monday. So the mother or the father has to go now to search for an extra job where she or he can facilitate to this young one. And then who is ready to employ you on an add-on, and the work you are taking was taking 7 hours, it gets off, then you would see each other on the next day. And after that, when you go home, because Kenya we usually work under 8 hours, you cannot take another work after that. So this pressure is building on, and that's why you see the commotion we are having in the CBC is not bad. It's a good education system. But it had to have a way when it was being pivoted in 2022, because they had to know the disadvantage and the advantages. And my take is this: I usually say between a decision and the consequence, the consequence is the greater part, because whatever we are facing now is the consequence, not the decision making. The decision was made there earlier on, not in 2022, earlier on. But now the consequences are this: the children who are going to the senior school, they are progressing there as who? People of the CBC. But there is another road which is winding up of the 844 system. Where will this lot add up to? And when they accomplish their tertiary education, the ones in the Form 4 and the university and the college, will they come up as CBC mentors, or will they continue with their lives as 844? Because most of us, me included, my mind is still programmed as 844 system. We cannot cope with that. But what about the CBC? Who are they? So there is an issue here, Mr. Chairman, you need to address, because we have the student, the bracket is filled by the student. But do we have the mentors of the CBC? People like us were mentored by the people who undertook the CPE, correct? Because they did the theory, the practicals in Migodin. But these young people now, they are doing another version which is totally different. They are doing the hardmanship. So are we ready to be the mentor of something we didn't do? And this is the teachers even they're asking, do we have now to go back to school so that we can done the refreshment, we come out as CBC teachers? Thank you.
So are we ready? That's the question. Are we ready to be the mentors of CBC? And if you are ready, how do you mentor? Now you just brought in a very interesting aspect. Mtoto ameitishwa mchanga, na hapa Githurai hakuna mchanga. Iko, but you find maybe whatever they are being told to bring to school, maybe it's not available. My question is, we as the parents, are we comfortable with the current system? Of course it has a lot of challenges, and it's upon us now to disseminate these challenges and internalize them and see how to go about it. I know we have teachers here, Mr. Kienje and my brother here, and as I speak, I know there is a homework that is there for my daughter to print the stars, the moon. Mr. Ezekiel, this you might not be very conversant with. So there is that printing, and this printing, my daughter who is in grade 2 means either she goes to the cyber or I go to the cyber. So Mr. Kieje, you as a teacher, when this homework is being given or an assignment is given for a student, how are these parents supposed to cope with it? And you find some of the things that the CBC requires, most of the things they are being done by the parent. Ni ukweli wazazi? I know if a child is given a task to make a percussion, you end up doing it yourself. I want, before we have Mr. Kieje, one of the parents to react to that in terms of CBC assignments and issue pertaining to homeworks. Yes. Yes, this is my brother over here, Titus. Kindly, mpatie microphone, tafadhali. Maybe he has something that he can share. Ukipatiwa homework, mtoto amepatiwa homework nyumbani, na mwalimu wako hapa, ni amempatia homework. Do you do the homework or is the child who does the homework? And what are the challenges that you yourself has faced in terms of the CBC?
Asante. Actually hapo ndio nilikuwa nagojea.
Unaweza simama ili tukuone vizuri.
Okay, asante. Nasema hapo ndio nilikuwa nagojea sababu hiyo mambo ya homework ni tricky sana kwa wazazi.
Umeifanya sana.
Sana. Kwanza kuna siku nyingine tuliitishwa wadede. Yaani nipigiwa simu nikiwa town kitu 6. Ilibidi nimechukua pikipiki nimeenda mpaka Karioko kutafuta hiyo wadede. Sasa hakukuwa na time ya kutengeneza hiyo nini. Hiyo wadede. Hiyo ni swali pia walimu wenye tuko nao hapa watuambie wanatumianga criteria ama wanafanyanga aje ndio kupeana hiyo homework. Asante.
Thank you. Jack, have you faced some of the challenges with the current system? Jack ni huyu Jack wa shosho hapa.
Hata mimi nimepatana na hiyo challenge. Nimepatiwa nitengeneze nyumba ya cartons. Mtoto hawezi fanya hiyo kitu. So imebidi nimetengeneza. So swali ni homework ni ya mzazi ama ni ya mtoto?
Swali ni homework ni ya mzazi ama ni ya mtoto? I'm hoping Mr. Kieje you listening. Yes.
Habari ya wazee. Mimi ningetaka kusema labda niongee tu kidogo kwanza, because mwanzo wa hii system, I'm not criticizing, but mwanzo wa hii system vile ilikuja hatukuwa na nafasi vizuri ya kusomesha walimu. Tumi walimu wangelipewa nafasi mzuri wasomeshwe kwanza, kwa sababu I feel it was rushed. So ingepewa hiyo nafasi kama ya mwaka mzima ama 2 years, ndio even wale wametoka college, walimu wale bado wadogo pia waingie katika hiyo system. Unaona walimu wametoka kwa ile system, wamesoma college ile system ya samani, then they just come wanaingia kwa CBC na hawajasoma. So even the teachers wako na problem kubwa sana, wako na shida mingi sana ili waende kusoma hiyo kitu. Unajua unaenda kusoma na unatakiwa ukuje kusomesha, so bado hawezi kuingiana vizuri. Na nikikuja kwa hata kwa watoto wenyewe, the system is very good. It is very good because unakuta mtoto mdogo kama ule wako nilikuwa nabeba asubuhi, unakuta mtoto huyu anaweza kusafisha haki yake, unaona, na mbeleni wengine hawakuwa wanaweza, but as at now they can do that. But you see, it was rushed. Ingepewa tu nafasi kama ya 2, 3, 4 years ndio walimu waweze kushika vizuri. Hata wale wako college kwa wakati huo waanze kuingizwa katika hiyo. So wakitoka college wanakuja tu kupata kama wanaingia CBC na ni kitu straight. So hapo ndio tuko na challenge. Lakini kama mimi huwezi nipatia ile mahesabu ama masomo ya saa hii niweze kuwafundisha. In fact, I'm very far away from that. Sijui na Mr. Kiemu kama chairman, wazazi ambayo wasahi mko na kazi kubwa, because it needs, hata wewe itabidi uweze kuwa like trained kidogo, ile technical know-how ndio uweze kuelewa huyu, kwa sababu kama mtoto anakuambia ile inaitwa 6 na si kwa shule sio 6, ile the pronunciation, unaona. So I think hata wazazi, we need to, the young wazazi wale wachanga pia waweze kuelewa, ili tushike watoto pia tukiwapeleka, because juzi niliona mzazi mmoja ameletewa hiyo kitu kwa kibanda yake, mama mimi sijui, sasa anasema hii inaitwa hivi, na mtoto anasema pana, mwalimu hajasema hivyo. So unaona hapo how yeye ataweza kusaidia aje? And hiyo ndio question ya huyu anakuja, ni hiyo ilikuwa ni ya mzazi ama ilikuwa ya mtoto? So we need all to come together kama society, ama watu wawe pamoja, wazazi pia waweze kuelimishwa ili waweze kuelewa na tusaidia watoto. Otherwise CBC ni mzuri, but it needs some time ndio iweze kuchukua mkondo.
Thank you Bwana Ogolla for that contribution. Imesemekana Mr. Ogolla is suggesting wazazi pia sisi tuingie mahali tufunzwe vizuri mambo ya CBC. You know, right now if we ask Mr. Kenneth Kariuki here to pronounce the alphabets, I know that it's going to be a challenge. Mr. Ezekiel, nowadays their pronunciation, unaenda unamwambia mtoto this is a C, nakwambia Kariuki, do you know how it's pronounced? Yeah, Patia, give him a microphone kindly. Yeah.
Unajua the problem, they keep on changing. In fact, there is a generation who is Abukudu. That was the first one. Sasa kuna wengine wanasema sasa hizo vile Ogolla anasema sisi tukiambiwa hizo sasa tutapotezana. That is the essence of that. In fact, vile kila mtu anasema CBC was very good, but it was rushed. In fact, hata vile Bwana Patrick anasema, there are so many materials enye, especially the urban centers, mnaitishwa unapata, hata ukijaribu kutafuta in the whole locality labda huwezi pata. For a very small example, kuna wakati wanaitishwa manure, maybe for the agriculture section. Mtoto anaweza zunguka the whole, let's say Githurai 45 ama Githurai 44 kama anatafuta tu manure, ama aende tu avuke barabara aende tafuta Masai bahari wanakuaga ndio apate manure. So these are the challenges which needs to be catered for. In fact, kama ni imepangwa vizuri, such things even the school should provide. Unajua kama ni shule wanaweza chukua hata kama ni pick up, waende hata kama ni wherever they will get the manure, iwe stored maybe in the school, such that mtoto wangu akiitishwa manure hata kuja kuni stress. Na vile na kila mtu anasema mtoto akiitishwa anakuja na kuambia daddy niliitishwa hii. So wewe ndio unajua pahali utatoa, kazi yake tu ni kuja tu umpatie apeleke shule. So it is challenging, it is a challenge.
Well, you live in 5th floor na umeitishwa, umesema unaitishwa nini? Manure. Anyway, in apartment ambayo iko 5th floor na una ng'ombe huko. And so these are some of the challenges that we are talking about, and at the end of the day we need to come up with a solution, because we are already in the CBC, and being in the CBC we need to know how to flow with the CBC. So Mr. Kienje, kindly, if you can answer Mr. Jack Washosho, aliuliza ukipatiana homework na umeitisha Mr. Kenneth Isaac manure, how do you expect that to be done, you now as a teacher?
Okay, thank you because of this chance. Good afternoon, men. Yes, my name is David Monene Kienje, and I'm a teacher by profession, and I deal with the middle class, that is from grade 4 to grade 6. Now, to start with, there was this question about the role of the government. I, as the parent, and a very young parent whom is taking the learners through the CBC, also my children, there is this problem with the flooding of textbooks, whereby if you look at the 844 system, most of you can attest to that they did mathematics with the primary mathematics for those who pass through the public schools, and those are the books we learned with. They were just done revision. Where they add or subtract some content by the curriculum designers. But you find that these days, for example, my daughter is in grade 4, and in my house it's like a library, because all the textbooks which were used in PP1, the following year you could not find even a parent to sell at a at a halfway price. Then PP2, then grade 1, then grade 2, then grade 3, and now grade 4. Sometimes I really ask my wife, now what are we doing with all these textbooks? Because textbooks costing more than 5,000 a year, and they are not used the following year, so that you can even donate to somebody, or you sell to second hand. You go to these second hand booksellers, they are still crying, because now you find that this year, for example, a school like St. Clement, they are using, for example, wrong one. That is what the teachers they have approved. Then come next year, they go to KLB. You see now all those textbooks are irrelevant now. So, but the content is the same. The content is the same. But here, I think now, because I don't know, I don't understand this government when it comes to regulation of textbooks, because I am in the public sector, whereby you find that those books that we used, we learned using them, you find that each and every year there is a new textbook. Each and every year there is a new. For example, in our school, the store is almost full, because now the best thing with public is that the books will be brought for free of charge, but it is only those which are in the urban areas because of the transport. But if you go to those very far, they take time to receive these books. So I think if the government can be able to address that issue, then the parents, in terms of financial obligation, then that burden will reduce. Now, coming to the little elephant in the room is about the CBC. To me, as a parent, I think I fully support the 844, the CBC system, because of some reasons. Because if you look at the 844 system, it was full of charges, whereby even if you look at for example, from October to December, very many universities, they are releasing their graduates. They are releasing graduates, but these graduates, they don't know where to go and start. That is why you are finding it is very, very easy these days to even find a graduate selling sugar canes, selling ice creams, because there is no job market. But the CBC is addressing that by giving the learners the technical skills that they can be able to apply and employ themselves, and also create employment for the others. For example, for the concluded Kijisea, most of the parents, they chose, together with the teachers, they convinced the teachers to select the STEM part for their learners, not knowing the repercussions. And now, when the government says something, you need to think very widely with the help of professionals, because you might make a decision which will ruin or make your learner. For example, in our school, we had around 80 learners, but most of the learners, I was there trying to help these learners when they were selecting the STEMs. And those parents who had our advice, and we looked the life history or the performance history of the learner all the way since CBC was introduced. And those learners who selected the sports pathway, those are the learners who got the best schools. Because STEM, for example, it's very unlikely to find that somebody choosing STEM from the local schools going to a school like Alliance or Moi Girls, because that is a national school, which is every parent would aspire his or her daughter or her son to go there. So it is very competitive. And again, you just need to look at this group of groupings. That is, we have the we have the STEM, social sciences, and the pure sciences, and then the sports. So wale wazazi ambao tunafundisha CBC, anza kuangalia mtoto wako mapema. Wakati mtoto wako hapo nyumbani, just concentrate with what he is doing. Zile vitu dogo dogo anafanya, hizo ndizo utakuja ukiongezea ukimfuatilia pole pole mpaka mwishowe mahali atafika grade 9, afike sasa kuchagua the career pathway. Hapo ndio utaweza kusaidiana na mwalimu, na yeye pia aweze kuingia katika ile pathway ambayo itamsaidia katika maisha yake. When it comes now to the content in this CBC, it keeps on changing the names, like what Mr. Kiemo is saying here about kutengeneza star. That is, hiyo ni environmental. Na environmental ukiingia hapa primary ndio sasa ina change inakuwa creative arts hapo. Now the challenge we are having, again I will go back to the government. When this CBC was being implemented, we were told that there was public participation. I am the teacher, he is a teacher, and also other teachers here. You are also the parents, but I don't know whether there was anybody who came across with that panel and gave out the comments. What would you like in this CBC? What would you like to be incorporated in this CBC? And I think that is where the problem started, because you find that most of because we are now shifting from the theory part to practical part. So you find that even some of these projects, and especially the challenge here is with those parents who are teaching in private schools. I being one of them. But for those of us whom our learners are in public in school, I also teach in public schools. You find that there is that narrative that kwamba walimu wa public hawafundishi, they just like wasting time. But do you know that CBC is fully implemented in the public school? Because now I myself I normally deal with the creative arts, because now creative arts, most of the teachers, they don't like it. And this is something that can help this learner to even earn money when he or she is still attending school, because he can be able to make beads. Hapa kuna wazazi ambao kitambo, wazazi wetu ama kina wa grandmothers kuna hii inaitwa fire cooker. Fire cooker ni ile chondo, alafu imetengenezwa hapo ndani, iko na sponge, iko na kifuniko hapa juu. Ulikuwa unaona kama ni maji ya kukamua kesho asubuhi, ikichemshwa usiku, ikiwekwa pale kifunikwa, kesho asubuhi utakuta hiyo maji bado iko hot. Ni wangapi wamewahi iona hiyo? Sana sana huko ushago. Ama chakula inachemka kidogo kwa jiko, inatolewa, inawekwa pale na sufuria, inafunikwa vizuri, alafu inawekwa. Baadaye unaenda unakuta hiyo chakula imeiva, na pale haikuwa imeiva, ni kuchemka tu kidogo. So those are the practical things that we are supposed to engage these learners, so that now hiyo project akitoka nje, hata bado akiwa pale nje, because we are supposed to use locally available materials. Kama huyu mzazi mwenzangu aliambiwa mtoto aende atengeneze amesema wadede, of which now I think the problem started in the school with the teacher. The challenge of the homework, I will blame us as the teachers, because now it was just Friday evening, nikafika nyumbani, nikakunywa chai, nikarelax. Then my daughter akakuja na kitabu, akaniambia, baba, sasa tulipewa homework. Sasa ilikuwa maswali 5 ya creative arts. Akaulizwa ile ingine ya kujaza, amejaza yote. Sasa swali la 5 lilikuwa make a charcoal stick. Sasa alijaribu, nikamuuliza, nikangojea tu, because na mimi nilikuwa nimeifanya the same day kwa shule yangu. So nikamuuliza, mwalimu aliwapeleka namna gani? Akaniambia, tulisoma tu, lakini sasa mwalimu akasema Monday kila mtu akuje na yake imetengenezwa na mzazi. Sasa nikajiuliza nao, mimi hata kama singekuwa mwalimu wa art, lakini nipatiwe hiyo textbook nisome, ningeweza kufuatilia. So kwa sababu nilikuwa nimeifanya, sasa nikamwambia sasa tutaitengeneza. So tukaanza na hapo sasa kuenda mahali ambapo kunauzwa kuni. tukaenda mpaka tutafute zile vijiti, kwa sababu hapa vile mzazi mwenzangu amesema hapa, huwezi ukapata vitu zingine unaitishwa, kwa sababu ushago ni kuenda na kukata hizo vijiti hapo. Hapa unazunguka, hakuna mahali unaona. So tukaenda tukazipata. Kutoka hapo ni utafute mkebe ya mabati. So kwa nyumba most of the things unakuta sasa ziko na plastic. So ni utafute mkebe. So tukatoka hapo tukaenda pale kwa wale watu ambao wanauza hizi home banks. So tukaenda hapo tukanunua kamkebe. Tukarudi nyumbani. Kurudi nyumbani sasa tukaenda tukaangalia. Tukaona sasa hii hatutumii jiko kwa nyumba. Kwa hivyo kama tungekuwa tunatumia jiko tungenunua makaa. So tukaanza hapo kutafuta mafuta ya koko, kwa sababu it is a process that requires heat. Unaona, so hatugetumia gas. So tukaanza kutafuta koko. Unfortunately tukakuta kwamba all this koko zimeisha, hakuna. Tukaambiwa koko haiko. So tukarudi kwa nyumba sasa tena. Sasa tukauliza my wife, now what are we going to do, kwa sababu hii homework imepeanwa na kesho inastahili kuwa imemalizi. So everything tuko nayo. Nikamwambia sasa liwalo tutatumia gas. Sasa ni kuanza kutengeneza hiyo practical kwa nyumba. Sasa hapo lazima pia tungetafuta msumali, because msumali pia ilikuwa part of the practical, na hapo hakuna ushago mahali utaenda utafute ama uombe neighbor. So tukapitia kwa carpenter tukaomba msumali moja, tukapewa, tukaenda nyumbani. So kuenda kutengeneza hiyo practical kwa nyumba. Sasa hiyo nyumba haikuwa inakalika tena, kwa sababu sasa hii making of charcoal sticks ni kama ile process ya kuchoma makaa nyumbani. Because sio ile makaa uchome alafu uchukue ile makaa ya kuandika, ile imechomwa, ni vijiti uweke ndani ufunike. Inatengeneza ni kama kiln. Unaona ile kiln ya kuchoma, ukitengeneza clay mahali unaingia inatoa, unafunika vizuri, unawasha moto huko ndani. It's like process like that. So nikajiuliza, aliniambia wako around 42 in the class. Out of 42 in the class, I don't think whether isipokuwa tu ni wewe tu peke yake utaenda na hii practical results, hakuna mwingine, kwa sababu wazazi hawataelewa. So to cut my story short, I think we as the teachers, before we give any takeaway home assignment, we just go through the steps, and if possible we ask these learners the locally available materials za kuenda kuokota alafu walete. Then it is the responsibility of the teacher to model. To model means to do it fast, step by step with the learners, step by step, so that mtoto akienda nayo nyumbani atakuwa tu akisaidia mzazi, tulifanya hivi. Okay? So because this assignment, that is where the CBC is going wrong, because now these assignments are supposed to be done by the learners themselves, but most of them tunakuta kwamba sisi kama wazazi, mimi nikiwa mmoja, kuna zingine pia ninafanya, lakini naona haifai, kwa sababu wakati mwingine unakuta kwamba the pressure with the teacher na mtoto, na unataka mtoto asome, so you end up making the project for your son or your daughter. Okay, so that is how I can respond. The other issue is about now, we as the teachers, we need to consider this kind of parents, because not necessarily mtoto anaishi na baba yake ama na mama yake. Anaweza kuwa anaishi na baba yake na mama yake, lakini wataingia usiku, yule ako nyumbani ni house help. Kuna mzazi mwingine ambaye anaishi na shosho, kuna mwingine anaishi na guka. Mtoto wa grade 3 ameambiwa take away home ni uende nyumbani, mzazi akupige picha ukitandika kitanda, then you go to the cyber and you print that picture, then you come with it on Monday. Sasa mzazi ambaye ako na katururu, mzazi ambaye hata hana simu, huyu mtoto atasaidika namna gani? Utakuta kwamba atakuwa ameachwa na wale wengine in terms of ICT integration tukienda mbele. Thank you.
Oh, thank you Mr. Kieje. I think you agree that there are challenges with the current CBC. Mr. Ezekiel, I know that you don't have a child in CBC. Those are some of the challenges that we are facing. And to be very honest, it's not easy. Because you find that at times you have to do that homework yourself. you as a parent. And the beauty about it is our children, the current generation, they are very outgoing and they must go with that homework. So they have to push you as a parent to ensure that they have that homework. And as my brother Titus was asked for a day, to start with, he has to understand what is our day and look for those materials to do that. And as we continue with this discussion, we need to understand that we are already in the CBC, and we need to enlighten ourselves, we as the parents, being advised by those who are already in the curriculum on how to go about it. So, Mr. Patrick, maybe just to ask, our brothers have highlighted that there are several challenges that are there, starting with the issue of home takeaways, the issue of textbooks. I know that majority of us parents, we have books that we bought, and those books, you cannot reuse them, or they cannot be used by other learners who are coming up. Those are challenges. And he has also mentioned about the career pathways. I think we'll come to the career pathways towards the end, because majority of us, we don't understand what are these pathways. There are those of us who are already at the beginning of the CBC, and kuna wale ambao right now, I know they are going through a lot. So the teachers in the house, they are going to guide us in that. Now, Mr. Patrick, according to you, have you found any challenges with the current CBC with your son, with your daughter, in terms of taking home or ensuring that this kid stays afloat in school, or is the child able to understand what they are going through? And again, when you do this homework for this child, when I go to the cyber and print, when this gentleman goes to find these materials for making the wadede, or my brother here goes to look for manure, who is learning here? What do you think? Who is learning?
Okay, thank you, Chair. First of all, I could like to apologize to the parents who are taking through the children, and they are kind of the ones who are doing the homework. And in such a session, we have men. And since we started the seminar or the fellowship, they just wait, mom. I don't know why. I don't know whether they are guilty. Ati unajua kuna mtu hapa anafikiria, naona na kweli ni mimi nimekuwa nikifanya hii kazi. So
labda wengine wafanyagi hizi vitu.
Watu wengine hapa na ndio ninawaambia, they just wait, mom. Or the topic walikuwa megoja, it didn't favor them. But all in all, you are supposed to know this. Even if, for me, I have a young girl, and she is in grade 4. But most of the time, I usually see as if I'm the one who is handling the greater part of it. Do you know why? I say it in the area on. We are a product of the 763, the ones who used to do the CP, the O levels and the A levels. Yeah, there we had a product of the 844 system. Is that true? But after that, the product now we are bathing is CBC. But the two generations or the two styles of education in Kenya were only theory, and there was a partial part of the practical. True. Is that true? Because practicals which are done nowadays are done in the jewelry sectors, and most of the jewelry sectors were for the ones who could not be able to push on or to pursue the higher education. Tuko pamoja. Ule mtu alikuwa akipelekwa MEC, ule mtu alikuwa akipelekwa welding, alikuwa amesoma kweli? Hakuwa amesoma, tusikizane tu. Ule mtu ambaye alikuwa akipelekwa ushushi, ule mtu ambaye alikuwa akipelekwa kupiga vinyango, alikuwa amesoma? hakuwa, that person alikuwa ameshindwa na masomo. And then right now you are telling me, Mr. Chair, that person now is greater than me. Do you see the picture now? You went up to university, you graduated, but the person who was less privileged in the docket of education is now on the hierarchy of the education sector. Let me give you a small picture. There is a time one friend of mine aliulizwa apeleke craftsman people abroad. Not last year, is a couple of years ago. But one of the recommendation was a certificate or a diploma. So the guy was given a position or vacancies of 30 people to search. So the first place he went, siyakuja Kenya. The second place, siende kwa nyumbani. So anajua ndugu ya Chea ni mzuri kwa welding, kuja wewe. My brother is good in mechanical, anampele huyo ni mzuri, anaenda kule kwingine na arts and him. But the issue was, none of those people had a paper document. They were good on the practicals, lakini kifika the validity of the document hana. Do you know what he did? Out of one constituency, he just got one. He came to Nairobi. Nairobi is the ground where there are 1,000 and none of the papers, but very good. Hakupata Nairobi hata mmoja. He had to switch to Tanzania. Tanzania, they have a system where they are briefed, the ones who don't understand the theoretical part of it, and it is the artisan part of it. Hule mtu yoyote anashuka nguo, anashuka nywele, anatengeneza vinyago, anatengeneza gari, anachoma. Tanzania wanakuanga na class ambayo anaenda anasomeshwa na anapatiwa a certificate from the government of Tanzania. This is a story. Out of the 30, 5 came from Kenya. 5. 25 came from Tanzania. But in Kenya, when we come now to the ones who are most experienced, it is Kenya. But they don't have the validity. So this is a system which has its dockets, the pockets. These pockets are the ones which are touching. And they are so severe because right now, ikiwa mimi unaniambia saa hii, kuna jamaa hapa nje anatengenezanga the moldings of the sinks, eh? You want to tell me that person is the one now recommended to come and teach my children. And akianza pale kitabu, because you are given a book for the curriculum, will he start with the theory or will he start with the practical? Atamfunza mtoto kutengeneza, lakini kifika ni kuanza hajui. Na hiyo ndio ile kitu tunafanya nyumbani. Wewe unafanya practical, mtoto anaandika kwa karatasi. Bear with me. Hata mtoto anapokuja nyumbani anakuanga na hiyo exercise book amepewa theory. Hiyo anafanyanga bila kukuuliza. But practical, chairman, utaenda kutafuta manure 45. Hiyo ni lazima. Na mwingine hapa ataenda kutafuta wandedi. But let's visualize it in this. 1 Timothy 4:10. Inasema hivi: be generous and different with the different things God gave you, passing them around so that it gets on it. Since we started the discussion, we are just in the social or the society place in the church. And the Bible is stating very well, be people who are generous. Be people who are ready to continue on. This CBC, is it a continuation of what you have learned, or is it an irrelevant system? I'm not challenging the government. I'm not challenging the school. I'm not challenging the parent. But I'm just asking, is it a continuation, or is it just an irrelevant scheme where we just have the people who we pursue with not getting the idea? Because even me, I try to understand, why was I in Form 4? Why was I in university? And the head of it, it is coming back to the person I left in the village. Hakuenda Form 1, hakuenda college, hakuenda wapi. Huyo sasa ndiye nina turn my back kumwambia, friend, saidia huyu mtoto. And I think it's a very hurting issue. Earlier on, I point on Mr. Oganda. He is a technician, he is a mech. But earlier on, the vehicles we used to have, mech ndiye alikuwa kusema, si ndio? Na ndiye alikuwa akigurumisha gari. Na mech hakuwa amesoma. Sisemi ati haja soma au kama amesoma. Hakuwa amesoma, lakini ni yeye alikuwa akigurumisha gari, na alikuwa akikuja jioni kama saa hii, the full day mmeshinda mkimtafuta, na anakuja akivuta sigara na ni mlevi, na ndiye atagurumisha gari. But they didn't know, let alone mtu wa waya ndiye atakuja kugurumisha gari. Is that true, Mr. Oganda? Mtu wa waya akaanza kugurumisha gari. Naye mtu wa waya hakuwahi jua gari itakuwa ikigurumishwa, there is software part of it. Na hapo ndipo tuko. So kuna watu wawili, they were superior, they had the ground. Saa hii wanaanza kuambiwa null and void in the industry of mechanical, because wanaondolewa na jamaa anaitwa software. Yeye tu ni kukuja kugraft na kuprogram the ECU na gari inaguruma. Wewe shinda hapo na mawaya. Gari za siku hizi it only distributes the earth, it doesn't distribute motor, the positive side. Gari za kitambo in the 90s and 70s and 80s zilikuwa zikipitisha moto, ndio maana zilikuwa zikichomeka sana. Na gari za hapo kitambo hazikuwa na waya, zilikuwa na issues zingine. So hii system inaenda ikiondoa huyu. The same thing I'm seeing in the education system. We are kind of commercializing. Tunaondoa huyu, tunaweka huyu akikosa kuleta profit tunamuondoa, sasa tumelete CPC. Mimi, that's my point, and that's my observation. It's kind of, we are commercializing the education sector, because ukiangalia ule wa kitambo 763 huyo irrelevant, 844 system huyo imefika pahali na yeye amepushiwa aside. Sasa tuko kwa CBC, and as I heard Kienje is staying kwake kuna kaa library. Jiulize library imetoka wapi, na wakati wetu hakukuwa na library. That's my take.
I think that is very interesting. Kwa Kienje kuko na library, and that is what is there. And as my give an opportunity to my brother here, as we discuss this issue of the CBC, there are those of us who are, nilisema kuna wale ambao tunaanzana nayo sahi, and there are those of us who are already completing in terms of the grade 9s and 10, because we have different issues, very different issues. And I'm very sure that as we go on, we are able to discuss them and tell each other, whatever you are facing, I passed through na nilipita. And he has mentioned a very good point, that we need to stay relevant. As much as we as the parent want our kids to go through the CBC, we must be relevant. We must move with the technology. We must move with the current status. So what is the next course of action? Maybe that's something that you need to ask yourself as we come to wind up. By the end of this session, we need to find out exactly what is the take home. So my brother, you had something that you wanted to mention, and at this point, as you rise up to give us your take home, I know you are a teacher, and there is also something that I wanted you to tackle, and this is the issues to do with the pathways. Sisi mambo ya pathways hatujui. Wazazi ambao tuko hapa, mambo ya pathways bado hatujui. And if I ask, is there someone who is here mwenye mtoto wake alichagua pathway? Kuna moja? Nani? Mr. Paul. Thank you. What was your experience so that now he can be able to tackle this. What was your experience in terms of choosing those pathways, and what do you understand by those pathways? Because wengine wetu hatujafika pale, we are even don't know what is the pathway. Lakini as we look to have professions in the future, lazima tukue at least tuko na idea. So Mr. Paul, what did you go through?
Habari ya wazee. Chairman, me si expert wa pathways but
I'm asking,
yeah,
did you face any challenge, or is there anybody who guided you to guide your child to a certain pathway?
yeah. So when we went to the school, they called us and they said we're supposed to select the path, the career of our child. So it was to mean that whatever our child was now selecting is what should be dealing with or learning for the next 3 years. That is when she goes to the senior secondary. So we selected according to her abilities. So we selected sports, arts, and sports science, something like that. But still, along the way, she'll still have to select further. But that's, I think it's after the 3 years now. Yeah.
Mr. Nahashon Kinywa, mambo ilikuwa namna gani? You know, we are asking this because we are not yet there for most of us, and we will get there at some point. So it's good to learn from those who are before us. So what was your experience?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Hiyo kitu hata tuseme ni gumu, kwa sababu hata wenye walikuwa na to direct hata wenyewe hawaielewi. So first of all tulipewa receipt yani shule zimeprintiwa tuchague shule, then after tukaambiwa tuende kwa website. So ile yote tulikuwa tumechagua ikapotelea, tuende kwa website. Ukienda kwa website zingine haifunguki, unaenda na nimeambiwa uchague kama ni zile day school 3 hivyo zimeteremkana hivyo. Sasa unachagua unaziweka, lakini ile kitu muhimu niliona kwa hizi vitu zote, kuchagua hizo zote shule na pathway na nini, juu mtoto ndiye anajichagulia ile kulingana na ile kitu amefanyaga, ile inaonekana subject zinamwelekeza. Kutoka hapo vile tumeingia grade 10 ni totally different. Sababu unafika pale hakuna shule inakuuliza wewe ulikuwa na career path yako ni gani, ni STEM, ni art, ni socio. Ukifika pale ni point, unaulizwa wako na points gapi, unapewa shule. Ukiulizia kama wako na hizo za STEM na nini, unapata hakuna ile shule iko na hizo vitu special. So pale unaenda unaambiwa naweza badilisha hiyo career path tena, achague yenye anataka. So kuchagua hiyo kitu niliona sio ile kitu naweza sema ati iko hivi ati hiyo ndio itampeleka mpaka mwisho. Juu inafika pale hata wale wanaenda pale high school hiyo senior school, unapata walimu ni wale walikuwa kwa 844. So hata hao hawaijui, ni vile tu walikuwa nasomesha 844, sasa wameletewa wa CBC. Na ni wao tu walikuwa pale. Anakwambia hii kitu mlikuwa mmeselect, sasa anaweza badilisha a select another. So hiyo kitu tuseme tu ni vile tu ilianzia, lakini kutoka mwanzo mambo ya CBC mimi nimeiona ikikuja ikienda different. Kwa sababu niko na huyu wako grade 10 na niko na wengine wako huku. Vile nilisumbuka akiwa grade 6 hapo kuanzia, na vile sasa hao wengine naona kuna different. kama walimu hata wao wanakuja wakielewa, kwa sababu ile tulikuwa tunaitishwa mayai, tunaitishwa hii, sasa hii haiko hivyo sana napata pale. Lakini ile kitu niliona ya CBC ile different na ile gumu ni kuona, kwa sababu ukiingia hizo shule zote tulingangana na tukaenda senior school, hakuna ile room unapata block hiyo ni special. Hata hiyo ina offer juu tumeingia sisi wote wa STEM, wa art na wa socio. Hakuna yenye nimeona ile block ile ni ya watu ya science, kwa hivyo zile vitu zimewekwa huko ni watu wa science watakuwa nasomea huko. Pande ile kuna computers na nini za wenye watakuwa natumia, laboratory ziko special, zote ziko ni vile tu ilikuwa. So sijaelewa. Asante.
Thank you. So you're saying that you passed through some challenges in terms of choosing the pathways, and the reason why we are asking ourselves this question is to ensure that when that time comes, we are able to have some answers, and it's not going to be difficult, and we will already have a way of accepting that that's where we are. So this gentleman here, kindly just answer some concerns that are there concerning the pathways, and what are the indicators that I need to go to this. There are 3 of them. There are 3 pathways. So if you can take us through these pathways, what they are, and the indicators that my child need to go to STEM, need to go to sports, and those kind of stuff.
Okay, thank you. This round I'll stand so that I give at least a view of what we are talking about. Now, thank you, Bwana Chairman, for this another chance to try and see how can we manage the problem we have, because we cannot wish it away. We have to live with it. Now, I want to look at one issue about homework. Homework, I've been in both primary, public, and private. First, when CBC started, I was in a private school, and it was a church school, a PCA. And CBC, it was a problem. You remember when one time the CS Mohammed said we go back to 844, and then it was the other way. So it has been troubled, especially this first lot, and the problem has been there. When they did the exam, that is grade 6, there was a problem of transition, when which subject to pick on, what to do, and all that. When they came to do Kijisea, the another problem was how to select their specialties and all that. Also now to go to senior school, the problem that we faced in 2020 when they were in grade 4 about teachers, review of the syllabus, are the teachers ready to handle the syllabus and all that. Now when you look at the mandate of a teacher is not a person who is trained to teach, to give instruction, not to teach the syllabus. A teacher is a person who is trained professionally to teach, to give instruction. The instruction can be any curriculum. That's why when I'm trained here, when I go to German, the problem will be language, not the curriculum. When I go to US, the problem will be the mode of instruction, not the curriculum. So the CPC, it does not lack the teachers to implement it. It lack the preparedness and the stage and the resources. Now let's debunk that problem, because teachers will teach. It is only that they go in service to be told. Like right now, we were going for methodology. How different are we going to shift, paradigm shift from this one whereby we are just looking for marks, and here we are going for practicals. So the pedagogies of dispensation of CBC, that was what shifted the teacher is not supposed to shift. The only thing you want to shift the teacher to be ready for is the method of implementing a curriculum, which is now a problem because we were used to drilling learners, getting the best, and then expecting at the end of the year our school is going to be on the media and all that. Now it is now how to shift that paradigm shift to this. Now when I address the issue of parent, the CPC, it is the parent, the learner, and the teacher. That is actually, it is one of the principle. And where during the implementation they were targeting the parent to bring the parent home. Parent walikuwa wameenda kutafuta pesa, wameachia watoto shule. Sasa wakasema, if we continue this way, we are going to lose the generation. So we must force this parent back to the learner. Not only money is needed, but also his presence is needed. That was the core issue, whereby we had present absent parents in the learning process of their children. And that is why that issue was brought. Chairman alikuwa anaamka asubuhi anaenda kutafuta pesa ya school fees, but hajui analipia nani school fees. So that was what was the reason of having the parent present and all that. And when you look at the CBC textbook, you realize that we have those assignments kama ukiangalia, if in language you do it in class, then the homework is that go home, read it to your parent as he take the video, as they comment. The essence is, are you present there? Yeah. So when you look at homework, like the school I've been in, it was a church school. Now I'm in a public school. So the church school this year, what we did was, one, every year, especially in candidate classes, we had seminars for parents, whereby, so the school, it had many, the board of management and all that, most of them, they were KU fraternities here. So they could organize seminars. Professionals will come to talk what are expected of the parent, what are expected of the teacher, what are expected of the learner, so that the parent does not end up doing the homework that is meant for the child. That was one of the issue. Two, now how can we manage homework? We manage homework like, personally, we check the syllabus in the level you are in. How many practicals I cannot do them during my lesson? I have 4 or 5 practicals. I have 13 weeks. How am I going to arrange that? We're going to record those practicals. We look at what are the materials or resources that we can get from our local environment, that is the school. 2, what are those resources the school need to provide or we need to buy? And then 3, we come up with a schedule of the school, the parent, and the learner to give them the dates on when practicals will be carried out in that class, so that mwanafunzi anajua mwalimu alisema 3rd week inabidi nikuwe nimepata hii material tutafanya, ama hiyo siku ndio inabidi nilete hii product ya practical shuleni. So that is actually how it's supposed to do. And as a school, I know we have a school here, so we need to talk to, as I know you are a part of the management, we can organize the teachers, parents, to have a seminar on, to guide the teachers, to guide the parents on what they are expecting on the same matter, homework, CBC. CBC homework, it is meant to encourage the learner not only to see what is learning from the teacher, but also to get that what the parent is observing. So as you critique, not only from the teacher but also the parent, and we are able now to make them get that self-efficacy I can do it. Self-efficacy is one of the core of competences of CBC. Self-efficacy, whereby you believe in yourself, you have confidence, and you can do it. So that is about homework. And Bwana Chairman, you can, I know as a school also we are affected. I'm a parent here. Yes. So that is one issue. 2, on textbooks. Textbook, public school tunaletewa vitabu paga zingine zimejaa. Now a syllabus is reviewed after 3 or 4 years. Now CBC imekuwa reviewed the second time, so we are expecting the third time, because like when you look at maths content in grade 9, it is too much for that learner. So we are expecting that maybe there is review after 3 years whereby it is going to be sized down. Just like previously ulikuwa wanaona watoto wanaenda kufagia market centers and all those practicals zilitolewa. That review CBC. Second review, tulikuwa na many textbook, like 16 textbook. Zimekuja 9. That is the second review. That review, after this release of the results, we are expecting that there is some content that are too much for this learner, and that they are not able to get what is intended as the objective of that. So as the review is going on, the implementation is already there. So to that extent, the school can organize this to manage, to ease the problem of textbook. 1, we have a book fund, whereby the school, the parent, they come together, they buy books. When they buy books, any new parents who is coming in will be paying, you pay for 4 years, like let's say 7,000 4 years. Any subsequent year, you are going to pay like 1,000, 2,000 for maintenance and all that. To avoid going every year you are buying textbook. Na mwenye anafata nyuma haezi tumia hizo vitabu. That is one, the school can have a book fund whereby initially it is high, but annually a parent can pay like 1,000 or 2 to do any other revision. Because when you look at the books that we bought 2020, yes, it can be used, but it does not have all the content. So what we are missing, that 1,000 yenye mzazi walipa inaweza nunulia mzazi mwalimu kitabu chenye anaweza tumia wanafunzi wakitumia hizo zingine, and you realize it is manageable and it is where it. Another thing on books, these lower classes, where a parent, mtoto anakuja anaandika kwa kitabu and all that. When you look at this established school, not public it is there. In private school, they have printing machine, whereby if you want homework leo ni draw yourself, they are given, mwalimu anatengeneza a frame of a paper, anaenda anatolesha watoto hiyo paper, wanapea watoto paper, wanaenda nayo nyumbani, they draw. So the textbook is saved for the parent and for the school, and that way you easy both the learner and the parents, so that they focus on paying school fees, not for the textbook. So those are some of the remedies that as a school and a community you can look at to manage the parents. So homework, that is how we can deal with the teachers to pre-plan the near future of what they are expecting to do. Textbook, the teacher, the parents, the school to come close together so that they are able to manage those annual buying of textbook. Another thing about something that aliongelea kidogo about why a friend was to go and source people from Tanzania and like in Kenya. So there was a policy gap whereby you could not get a certificate from informal education system. But recently Mr. Bwana Ruto, President, came up with a policy apprenticeship whereby when you have a skill you can be given a certificate. Wakati alisema artisan or nini, they will be given certificate that they are able to do this and that. So that one was a policy, that there was a policy gap, but now I think it is being addressed so that anybody who has a skill can do something through the relevant channel is able to get a certificate that is able to do this, and he can use it anywhere to do anything. So that was it. Then lastly, about, before I go to pathways, we have this problem that we are going to have with it for the even 3 years from now. We'll have the same. When CPC came on, we were told learners are breaking their back by carrying many textbook, homework, competition. Now, mzazi wa CBC, kama mtoto wako hakupata good points, hakupata shule, how different is it with 844 kupata shule? It was marks. Now it is points. Can you get points without working? No, you have to work. So, as we get skills, as CBC is intended, the society is not ready to implement CBC. Because when you look at after CPE, 844, it had all these subjects. You had art and craft, music, all those PE and all that, creative art and all that. So what was lacking then, it is what is lacking now. It is resources. The syllabus 844, the initial 844, it is just the CBC that we have now. The problem that was there, it is the problem that is here. It is the resources. The lab that I used when I was in high school, it is the same lab that is going to be used. But right now we need home science lab, we need chemistry lab, we need craft, home science and all those. But they are not there. So it is the government and the community to see that we have enough resources so that this CBC can see the light under the objective that it was intended for. Now the problem of the one that we had from grade 6, the initial one, to grade 7, 8, 9, it is the same problem tumekuwa na hiyo when these learners, they were transiting from junior to senior. It is the same problem. Now, come 2028, we are going to have the same problem when these senior learners graduate to go to university. That is the same problem we are going to have. The problem we had of teachers in grade 4, when they were in grade 4, these who are going to junior school. It is the same problem now in senior schools of teachers, subject, realignment, and all that. So, those learners who are the first lot, they are much disadvantaged. But those that are coming up after them, they will get it easy, because most of the issues will have been solved due to review and experience of the learners. Now when we come to pathways, now pathways, there have been in many ways. We have 3. We have STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and maths. That is STEM. We have social science. So science is what we used to call humanities, minus agriculture. Agriculture is in science, home science is in science, and yeah, those sciences are in science. But humanities, there are social science, then put on English languages. Then we have sports and art. So that is another pathway. So we have 3 pathways. Under these 3 pathways, if you had a candidate in Kijisea, that is grade 9, when you look at his or her, it had how he performed and what are the possibility of him doing this, doing that, or doing this one, according to how he passed. So you may have chosen arts, but because of your performance it was good in science, umewekwa huko. Kuna mwingine alichukua sciences lakini amefanya vibaya, and because of competition hatapata hiyo science. So it boils back to how are you performing? How is the learner performing? And we all know that competition brings specialization. So mzazi ukiwa na mtoto, advise him or her, working hard, it is still there. As much as we are shifting to talent and any other thing, working hard, it is still there. And a competition, it is good as long as it is a healthy competition. Through competition, specialization, it is earned. Through competition, quality is improved. Learners are advised, if you are a parent, let your learner give the best, and the best will come from who is following you. So competition is there, and it has emanated from how these schools, the selection of high school, senior school. Umeona kama mtoto wako ameanguka, upati shule, na wewe uliambiwa hakuna competition, hakuna nini, mtoto, kila mtoto atakuwa catered for. Huwezi pata 20 points upata alliance school. Why are we fighting for alliance? We are fighting for alliance because, one, alliance staff, it is like it has almost 100 plus teachers. It has classroom, it has resources. So to change from this to that, it will be easy. Now when you come to our school down here, it is when we are building classrooms. Do you think we are going to build a laboratory? No. But the learners will be already there. So that is the competition. So as I wind up, selections. Kuna wazazi hapa wameongea about selection of pathways. Actually, when you look at the grade 9 when you wameenda junior senior school, most work, as much as the parents were called, that work was done by the teachers, because the parent was not aware, was not conversant, and was not even not able to comprehend what is this going to. Because we know, when I was Form 1, I wanted to be a pilot. When I reached Form 3, now I saw my pilot dream evaporating. I changed to be the other one. It was not working. Then after Form 4, when you go to colleges, especially like university, you join with this course, but you graduate with another course. Do you want to say that these learners at their 13 years, they are going to make the right decision, when we at 20 we were changing? It is close to impossible, because life is dynamic, and the spectrum at which we are working, it's also changing. So when a learner STEM, those are the learners who will do medicine, engineering, those sciences field. A learner who is going to do social science, they will do they are not able to get any course in sciences. So that is the disadvantage. When a learner pick a pathway na afike huko mbele kiumane, he has no reverse gear, because he don't have the content, he don't have the background and all that. So the parent, the learner need to make a conscious decision. And that is whereby now, as you continue growing in CBC, we know the challenges will emanate, but also the challenges are going to be solved as we progress. But we 844, we were free to skip from one rope to another, from one road to another, but going forward, CBC will not. So it is upon the parent and the teachers to identify the strength and the hobbies. To avoid a parent who admitted a doctor at the university, then he gets a DJ at the graduation square. So to avoid those scenarios, let the learner, as you guide, let the learner see what he can do. But as you agree on what he can do, you are at the sound of reasoning in that decision. You know Kenya. Kenya as a society, we've made education not to be of the best reward. When you look at our society, the professors, the all academician, they are a middle class and a poor. But those who are not academician, they are at the rich. So they are the one who will decide if you get a job as academician or not. That's why my brother here was saying he was feeling ashamed or uneasy to go back to the classmate who didn't make it to ask him to help him get a job. So that is our society. So as you make that decision of your learner to which pathway to pick on, let him or you understand the gaps that you need to fill. For example, if your son like vehicles, he can be a good mechanic. Then identify which type of mechanic is he going to be in. Electrical, mechanical, or what? Then from that point of view, you work up, coming down. Mwanafunzi ni hapa, wewe unajua atakuja hapa. So let's work backward to avoid unemployment at the end of the year or the process. When you look at the unemployment in our society, mostly they were the prime courses we were supposed to choose, like become architect, statistics. Those are some of the graduates, majority of them that are the one who are flooding outside there without job. They did the right thing, the system failed them. So let's not make the same mistake at this stage. So if you are a CBC parent, be part of the process and make sure that the decision, you will be able to defend it at the end of the process. Remember, at the end of the day, that child, the teachers will leave him at a stage. The school will drop him. The government will start demanding for tax when he is unemployed. So as a parent, try to be present in that process to make sure that that pathway you pick on, at least you see you can be ahead of it. Lastly, when we pick courses or when you pick pathways, pick a pathway that interacts directly with human being. The population will be there. Like if I'm a dressmaker, as long as the human population exists, having an industry producing clothes, you will not lack market. Yes. Now, when you look at architects in Kenya, we are not building. We are not building that much. We need to build, but the system is not allowing that to happen. So you find that our graduates are not they are not getting opportunities because of the society we are in. So make it a point that the course we choose, they are directly interacting with human population, so that whatever you produce, it is consumed directly without any other person close to that. That way you will be able to solve this problem of unemployment. because in Kenya, the population now, it is on a survival mode. What can you do to survive before you start living? So that is it for today, and that is my submission for those two questions.
Okay. Thank you, brother, for the contribution. I think we can give him a clap. He has done an expansive way of trying to educate us through the pathways. And my question is this, is a genuine question, and I'm not attacking any teacher. First of all, how do you feel when you know the homework which you are talking about is like an assessment to you? It's been done, the 90% is done by the parent, not the child. Because in our time, we used to have home science, art and craft, woodwork, metalwork, and we usually had to be given some specific day to bring in the practicals. Like there's a time in home science, hata huyu alishona buti, but it was not a wicked thing. It was 2 weeks or a month. Na short, mimi nishona short ya PE. How do you feel? Because when you ask for that skirt and the stitches there, they are machine made. How do you feel? Don't answer me right now. Another thing concerning the same, and to you teachers, are you under pressure? Because maybe you are working under pressure and there are some issues which you cannot talk in front of the cameras. Because when you see a child being piled with a lot of work, it shows there is a corner or there is an avenue which is so much pressured. Because let it be known, the pressure you can get is for you to do away with the curriculum or to do away with the full year curriculum. But when you are mounting on a child all those practicals, all those theory part of it, it shows, for me, there is a pressure from somewhere. Also for that one, take it at heart. You know when to answer. My last question is this. We are all talking about the CBC. We are talking about education crisis. We have just done a crowd thing around the church and the society. The church is there because it's one of the holistic place where it does like everything. And when I say everything, the way a church can handle you is not the way a society can handle you. But we have not checked the government. We are just pricking fingers. Tuna kuko kwa umbali. Hata chea hapa anafanya hivi. Anarudisha mkono hapa. Where do we have, or what is the issue between the government laws in education? Because it's the fundamental person in this education sector. It is the one who is bringing forth the system. How or what are the government doing when they see all these crises and yet they want in 2028 or 2030 to have a positive written document to them that we have done it? So whatever we have trying to be scrutinizing is on the social, the church, the family. But the key prayer is just there, watching us. He's just watching us even right now. The forum we are having. But what is his take? Because me, for my take is this. The government is the one who is the owner of education. True. The government is the one in charge of these children. Is it true? The government is the one who have housed the institutions in Kenya of learning. But when it comes to the issues which are affecting the system, it's like a tug war or a seesaw thing, because they are pushing to the parents, they are pushing back to the teachers, they are bringing back, they are nowhere to be seen. There is an issue which happened like 1 week ago concerning the ones who are proceeding to senior school, sorry. There was a direction or directive from the president that they go on Friday to the school. But my issue was, it was not the directive. It was after that You know, you didn't ask yourself, after that, the children are taken to the school, but after that, you see, the key player is the one, and to my issue today, we don't have a key player in the education system, somebody connected to the government education docket, because we could ask him face to face, after all this, what is your benefit? Because right now we are talking about the CBC, correct? After 10 years, what will we have? A wasted lot? Or the same way we are searching for jobs? Because for me, I know most of us went to school so that you get a white collar job. But when you go to the developed countries, they don't educate their children to get white collar job. They educate them so that they can be productive to the country, and they can do whatever they have been taught. Another question goes to the teacher's team. When you are talking about the pathway, this is a child whose mind at 13 is working on an 50-50 percentage. Why do I say so? 50 is for the parent, 50 is to the teacher. Is that true? Molim, is a 50-50. Then you are giving him an aspect of designing the path he is supposed to undertake for his career in life. This is a person, 50% is what the parents say, and 50% is what the teacher says. So this pathway that the child has the rightful decision in making. When you go to the senior school, now you get a child who is 30-70, and 70 have been switched to the school or the teachers. 30 is for the parent, because now there is a passage. He is seeing, or she is seeing the passage to adulthood, to youthfulness, whatever. But now there is a passage. There, the guy we understand, or the girl we understand, whatever I chose was not correct. And that's why you refer to us when you are in colleges or university. Some of us dropped because ulikuwa umebridge mao na physics. Kifika pale, hata kufanya bridging ya maths only 3 months inakuweza. Because you want to do chemical engineering, you have to bridge chemistry or maths, and you are not perfect in it, so you drop. But sisi tunajua Chea alienda uni, lakini kile anafanyia huko ni beverages. Yeah, food and beverage, na atawekelewa shahada, but hata kuonesha karatasi. Then that young man or that young lady anaingia institution. Sasa inakuwa the mind now switches now the other way around. It goes 80-20. Now it's 80 upon him or her, 20 to the world. And there America 20 to the to two places: the parent, the institution, and the government. Here na back in 80. So this mixed up, or this mess, who will handle it? In our age, sisi tumekubali, lakini hawa watoto watakubali kweli? What's your say?
Well, I think I want to get the answer from the audience. Now that you've just placed it on me, and especially for those who are not in the CBC, or those who don't have children, and they have heard what are our problems. We as the parent who are currently in the CBC, na kuna wale ambao watoto wao hawako kwa CBC. In this case, I'm talking about Bon Ezekiel, Mr. Ogola here, my brother there. What do you think is the role of the government in all this mess? What do you think can be done? What should the government do? Now, once we're done with Mr. Ezekiel, Mr. Nyaboan, and then Mr. Ogola come through.
Thank you very much. To me, and out of my observation, what the government should do is to ensure that the children are educated. Because the children are educated, the country will be educated. This CBC, as it is called, I don't know whether it's the right thing or the right pronunciation or what. To me, is like a scam that was brought from China. It was brought to us, which we were not ready for it because we are failing in some areas that we are unable to come out of it. Why? When you find a kid is looking for materials which are not available, what does that tells you? It's a failure in a way or the other. You are supposed to give what you can get without struggling. You see, furthermore, as we go, it will come to a point when you find that there will be a gap in a way or the other because not many will make it to university. Others will drop somewhere along the line. Just recently, we are taking a kid to Renana High School. He had 69 marks out of 72. But there were some challenges he had there of 1, 2, 3 things which I will not be able to mention in front of cameras. So to my take is, this was supposed to be reviewed to further level. Thank you.
Thank you. My take is a bit tricky, and it is in the sense that the government as an institution is the key holder of education, basically of everything. CBC, the way the teachers have talked, seemed to be very good. But the way it was implemented has brought so many challenges. In its implementation, they ought to have given the parents, or basically everybody, to talk about it, so that all these the challenges that we are able to see now could have been rectified. But now, there was the Minister for Education, who is the late Magoa, really pushed it. And the key things were not ironed properly. It has brought so many challenges. I've come across parents who their children have gone to them with the assignment, the homework, which they don't understand. The children also don't understand, but now it has to be done. Now it brings a very tricky situation where you know very well that you have given a child a homework, and you know pretty well that this homework has been done by the parent. And now you want to mark the child as if this assignment was actually done by the student. This is basically a mockery to our education system, because you need to mark the child on what the child has done, not what the parents has done. When I went to school, I happened to have gone to school using the system of 763, and my parents did not go to school. So I don't know if I was in CBC, how I could have survived. Because the assignment which I was being given, I was doing myself. Now that you give a child a homework and we expect the parents to do for the child, it becomes a challenge. Then you find that the things which the children are being told to go and get, you have put it very clearly that you live in a 5th floor and you expect the child to get a manure in Nairobi, which is practically, it is impossible. But now, this poses a very big question to the government, that surely, what system did they bring to us? Unless we talk to the government, we will still go round and round and round and will not get answers. Because even if we have perfect answers, which will not be validated by the same government, we are basically at a standstill. So as much as it is good, we are being promised it is good, it will give our children the employment, but it poses a very big question. It poses a very big question. Now that we are being told that we need to go to technical, the TVETs, now you fail to understand how good or how people are supposed to take the education system, whereby somebody goes up to university, that is somebody who is bright. But now we are being told that as much as you are bright, you must be able to do a course which will be able to make you have money even if you have not gone to school. It poses a very simple question that education in Kenya is not actually being taken so seriously. As much as we need to go to school, go up to university, or go up to the tertiary colleges, but now that goodness of having quality education has been eroded. And we call upon the government that surely, as much as they have brought to us this good system, the good system is a good system which produces a good results. But now, so far, we have not seen those good results. A typical example is the pioneer students who have gone to senior secondary. So many of them could not learn because we had lack of teachers. We had lack of books. We had lack of the laboratories. And they will continue that way until they finish. The lucky people who will go like to Alliance, whatever, will be lucky. What about those who will not go? So we still have a challenge that we need the government to tell us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bonogola? Okay. So, Mr. Senior, do you have something that you can add on that note? Kenneth Isaac.
Okay, thank you, Bwana Chair. I think if CBC can be well nurtured, it is a good system that maybe can help the runners be self-dependent. Just as my brother Patrick was saying, previously you could get maybe guys with degrees, but when you come to the practicals, they really know nothing. That's where now you leave alone the highly qualified, then you go to the lower qualified because they'll give you what you want. If you maybe can have a look at the most developed countries, for example, China, CBC is what is being taught to their very young children. And most of the watches that we do wear are from the art and craft, from the primary school students, even the one you are having there. So they get used when they are very young. So by the time they are coming now to be mature people, they have already graduated now from the phone, from the maybe the watches. They are making the TVs, they are making the phones, and that is why even if you go to China, you get a phone at a very cheap price. So that is the essence. The only thing that is lacking, and as Marim had said, is the resources. Because we won't make these watches with clay. We make materials that we can produce maybe some good watches, maybe for the CBC, from the CBC. We can sell it in our country, and maybe in Tanzania or in East Africa, or maybe in Africa. So the resources is key. We get the correct material. We teach our students to make good products, then everybody will have a portion of the cake. Everybody will have money in the pocket from these small things that they'll be doing for the art and craft. Otherwise, if the government does not lend its hand on this to give the resources and the machinery, then we might not go very far. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's a very strong point, because at the end of the day, when we teach our children or when we take our children through the education system, there's something that we want them to achieve at the end of the day. And as my senior says that, although this is not from China kindly, so, but whatever he's saying, it's true. We need to teach our children from the early age that some of these things, they are doable. And one of the take homes that we should be able to have for us who have children in CBC, especially the lower classes, be there for that kid. If a homework is given, now my take is, if a homework is given, let the child be part of that homework. If they are going to have a session in social sciences or environment, if they're going to make, today we are referring so much on our day, let them know that these are the materials, you can source them, 1, 2, 3, try to guide them, not just do for them. Try to guide them on the way they should be able to tackle that issue. Sometimes they're supposed to make those houses from the cartons. You go find this carton, or tell them to find this carton, because especially from the setup that we are in, you cannot just release a child in the streets to go and look for cartons. But you can walk with the child, look for the carton in the house, and guide them through how to go about it. And therefore, there was a point that was mentioned here by the teachers, that CBC was to bring the parent closer to the child, which is working. Now, you as a man, now that this is a men's fellowship, do you participate in doing these assignments? When a child is given a certain assignment, do you just push this assignment to the mothers? Because it is our role as men to ensure that they go through this system. And remember, especially for these who are very young, they need to see us as we continue working on these projects together with them. And therefore, my urge to each and every one of us is to ensure that we are there. Now that we're already in the CBC, and as much as so many things they have not aligned, can we be there and help our children to achieve that task? Let our children not be a laughing stock, because when that assignment was given, he was able to do it, but my child did not manage to do it. So let's be there. And my urge is for each and every one of us, the men that we are in the house, let's be there to ensure that our children, they have a good transition. I believe that we are going to have these discussions more oftenly, because this is something that we cannot just exhaust for today. And now that I can see that the time is far much gone, some of the solutions that I've picked from you gentlemen, amidst all these crises that is there for our education system, is that we the parent should be provided for with seminars like the one that we're having here now. The next time is we have someone who is more knowledgeable on this aspect of the CBC, or even the career pathways. We should be able to have these seminars frequently, so that we can be able to run our education system in the right way. And we being part of the society, we should be able to create a conducive environment for our parents or for our children, so that they can be able to appreciate each and every school that they attend to. There's somebody who mentioned about having a book fund, and these some of the things that maybe when you go to your respective schools, you can be able to suggest them and see whether they can be implemented. Again, when it comes to the solutions for all these issues of the CBC, what I've picked is that we should have a pre-plan for our children. Let's plan in advance. Let's try to look what are the hobbies for our children, what are their strengths, and what do they like most, and then we try to realign. Why do Wahindi's business, the Asians, their business flourished for years, but Anjoroge here and an Otieno there, they start a business somewhere, but all of a sudden it fails after some years. And some of these things is because we don't involve our children. Personally, I do appreciate CBC because it's able to help me have an interaction with my children, so that whatever they are doing, I'm part of it. We should also transition this even to our workplaces, especially when we say that we need to ensure that we build businesses or empires for our children, and let involve our children in our daily activities, especially when they come of age. And the Asians, they have mastered this. You'll go to a Muhindi bookshop, you'll find this child who is in grade 1 is the one who is arranging the books. He might not be able to count or to give change, but huyu mtoto anajua hii kitabu inafaa ikuwe hapa, and they're able to run this in their process as they grow up. So even by the time this child is of age, they are able to do that business with a lot of passion, because it's an art that they have mastered. And therefore, let's look at CBC as a way of bringing our children to ourselves and helping us to ensure that we walk through this life together with our children. So those are some of the things that I have picked. Maybe in a nutshell, Mr. Patrick, so that we can wind up. Now we've rushed through these young children from young age, na tumefikisha mahali wamechagua pathways. They have chosen a pathway and they are done. Now, what are the opportunities? Which opportunities do our children have? Do we have to force them, or do we have to say now that you need to take STEM, you need to take sports? And remember, the way if I got it very well, Mr. Kieje, if a child takes a certain STEM, lazima wamalize nayo mpaka tertiary level. So what is the way forward if they don't manage? Are there other opportunities? Do they have to go to colleges? Do they have to go to universities? What are there other opportunities that are available? Because we need to ask ourselves all these questions so that we don't push something that will not get always squeeze water from a stone. So what are these opportunities? And maybe in the next 10 minutes, let's try to go through this so that we can wind up. So Mr. Patrick, you can go first, and then Budhia, get prepared. What are these other opportunities? Dan, and then Nicholas. What are the opportunities that are there for our children once they complete schooling? Mr. Patrick.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I would like to thank you for this far we have gone, for your patience, for your concentration, and for your 1, 2, 3 advices and decision making you have given unto us. Whatever we have been talking today is in time of crisis, and this sector concerning education is a continuation of life. And when we talk about continuation, right now we are supposed to know each and every parent who has a child in primary school, in secondary school, we are in a motion where we are calling ourselves passage. Nobody knows the future, but we can try to understand the future in this way. Whatever the senior school have gone to undertake in the secondary schools or the senior schools is being said to us mutually. We don't have the practicality. We don't understand what those children we are going to do. But we are all in passage, the children and the parents. And in the decision making, we have already made it, because those children who are in the national schools, extra counties, they are going into their own pathways. So this decision, it can either discourage that young student or encourage that young student. And our teacher there, Keje, said there is no point of return. So whatever he or she undertook, he has to push over until tertiary education completion. So even for us as parents, we are supposed to be mentally sharp that things can go nowhere. And when this issue come up, how will you handle your child? Because I understand in the senior school they are only going there for 3 years. What if that child tell you it's done, I can't take it anymore? So we need to be prepared in one way or the other. Why do I say so? When you go to our battle zone, the soldiers who have advanced to the front line, they usually make trenches. And that's how the trench coats came up. I don't know whether you know that. Trench coats. Trench coats came out from the soldiers who are digging trenches in the front line. So ukiona mtu amevaa trench coat, sio fashion, ni jeshi alikuwa akivaa hiyo kitu. So these people, they know how to conquer is making trenches. When you make a trench, you create a buffer zone. So for us as the parents, we need to also make those trench. Si mtoto ameenda senior school, nation. Sasa nawe anza kuchimba. Usichimbe mtoto, chimba hapa. Uchimbe ati hakuna kurudi nyuma, ni kusonga mbe. So whatever you are trenching or whatever you are digging here is for his own or her own well-meant. Because of this, you are now the cover of that person who is pinching on the enemy. And the enemy is the education, what he will gain or she will gain at the end of it. The common enemy, education. But you are left in the trench. So, wewe chimba mitaro. Na sisemi uchimbe mitaro ati mtoto anguke. Uchimbe mitaro financially you are able. You try to come up with those schemes. Then, material wise, try to advance yourself to know this child. Hii kitu amechukua. In practicality atafanya nini? So try to search for those areas. Hautamwambia lakini utakuwa ukijua huu mtoto amefanya STEM, atatoka afanye what and what and what. So ninaweza kuwa mimi niko na knowledge kidogo, ile naweza muambia hii kitu umefanya, kuna mtu fulani I can refer to, kuna kitu fulani naweza kurefer to. Then try to build in the hope in that child, because the only hope he has or she has is to you parent, because after 3 years he will come back again. And this is the system we have in our life. This is the system we have in Kenya. Tunaendanga miaka 4 tunarudi, tunaenda miaka 8 unarudi. Sasa hawa watoto wakienda miaka 3 they come back to you. They not go back to the government, they not go back to the society, they go back to you. So the awareness we are supposed to undertake right today is for you parents to always make trenches so that they can cover that child in the war. And as I finalize, it's my take that each and every one of us could have a point to make before we wind up, and then the next session we can try to see concerning still the education, the future about this crisis, because we are not there just to cry. Kwa jisai tutapiga mdomo, tutailia, but what about the future? Does the future have hope? So that's the section which we cover next time. Back to Mr. Chairman.
Does the future have hope? Do we just cry? Budhia. So patia Budhia mic kindly.
I think there is hope because the opportunities will be there. It all depends on the pathway that is going to be, we are going to help our children to take. Because as one speaker was saying, they are supposed to make these decisions at quite some young age. So we as a parents, we are there because we are able to see maybe the opportunities that will be there in future for them. It's for us now to guide them. The areas they are going to pick, because with the CBC it will not be more of like how 844 was, that you can do this, but at a later stage you want to, sometimes you find yourself, you went to the university, you did a certain course, but even today you don't even practice what you learned in school. But I think with the CBC the opportunities are there, because these will not be decided or will not be based on one exam that decides. You see, with 844 you say that you get an A or you lose it. But I think with now CBC, it's progressive. It's how you stage by stage or step by step, how you are progressing on. It's what is able to help you to choose the right pathway. And I believe we've guide our children together with the teachers. I think that will help us try to avoid in future unemployment, because we're able to guide our children. If you say it's not good in sciences, assist the child not to pick something that is along that line, because definitely at the end of it all, you'll just be there saying, you see, myself, I find when you are doing maybe selections of units in high school, people used to choose, like, you feel like there is those people who are choosing, they have to do 3 sciences. Once you get there, you find you're not good either in physics, but you have already chosen that line, you can't change. So at the end of it, you find by the time you get to Form 4, you are finishing, you're not performing well because of one subject that you chose because of other people. But maybe because that time we had never had good guidance or a clear pathway to where we wanted to be. But I think For me, there is future, there is hope. If we are there for our children, we are able to support them, and even where the teachers are also guiding them, interactions that we have, the parents and the teachers, they will be able to tell you when you go. You see, sometimes for us as parents, we are invited for those PTCs, but you just say, let me set someone to go and listen to what the teacher is saying. But you are the ones who are supposed to go there. So the teacher will be able to tell you, I find this better in this area and needs an improvement on this area. But you're able to pick it up from there and proceed on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Budhia. Yes, briefly, kindly.
Bari wazee, I think my take ni the way umesema we need to put and we act we give our kids something for sudden death. Kama vile unaweza sema if all my plans don't work, I'll try this. Ile kitu saa iwe unafanya kama mzazi wa huyo mtoto, jaribu kumfunza hiyo, ataikumbuka. Kama kila kitu amechoose kwa life yake, kwa masomo yake, kwa pathway yake, imeenda imefail, hiyo kitu unafanya as you put it about Wahindi hufunza watoto wao kutoka wakiwa wadogo biashara, and that's why it drives mpaka uzeeni. Unapata wamefungua branches na hazijaifungua. Hivyo umesema Njoroge, ni kama ni mimi umetarget, nikaona enyewe ni kitu inatukula. Why we never share, ama kama age zenye tuko nazo sahi hatukupata hiyo backup plan kutoka kwa wazazi. Na former president alikuwa amesema, funza mtoto wako kitu imoja yenye wewe unasema, yani unafanyanga, other than hiyo unasomea kama PhD, hata wai ikulia juu ni wewe ulisoma wewe mwenyewe. Mtafutie kitu itakuwa yake ya kumsaidia baadaye.
Thank you. Masharia.
Okay. Kama sigesikiza wazee, singekuwa na kitu cha kusema cha CBC. Juu yenyewe sijakuwa nikifuatilia hiyo mfumo sana, lakini nimeweza kutapu mambo mingi na kuna vitu nimeongeza na nikaweka kwa roho. Cha kwanza, 22 years back nikakumbuka tukiwa pale parade, mimi ni wa class 8. Kuna mwalimu anakuja anasema, do the right thing at the right time at the right place and do it well. Tulikuwa tunamchukia sana huyo mama. Hiyo maneno sasa imerudi saa hii. Nikiangalia CBC naona we are doing the right thing, doing it long at long time at long place, doing it bad. Kwa sababu wakati wali introduce hii masomo, walileta kitu ya kwanza wakijua kuna watoto wanasomea chini ya miti, na pale chini ya mti ndio wanataka bundles na touch screen zitumike. Walianguka, lakini juu ishakuja na imekuja imeinama venye imeinama, na sisi tuko na shida mingi na tuko kwenye capital city. Hiyo ni kumess na maisha ya Wakenya sana, kwa sababu ukimess na education kwa nchi fulani, umess na health, umess na security na food security, hizo vitu nne, hakuna kitu hata kimoja kinafaa kuwa na gap hata ya mwaka moja. Huwezi sema maskari wamegoma, wacha tujipaga mwaka moja, tutakuwa tumeisha. Hakuna venye unaweza sema hii masomo tutagoja miaka 5 ndio itakuja kufanya. Hii gap ya miaka 5 ama 10, hii kitu ikitengenezwa, kutakuwa na ujinga mwingi sana kwa nchi hii. Kwa kifupi, juu mimi sijui mambo deep ya masomo, mi kama ningesoma, niambie nichague kitu nasikiaga iko ndani yangu, mimi ningekuwa mtu wa kuandika vitabu. Hiyo iko ndani yangu sana, kwa sababu hata tukigia kwa supermarket paka leo, wife paka anishike mkono usichukue kitabu ama bairo, zinakuwaga zimejaa kwa nyumba, hata zingine sijuagi ni za nini. Nasikiaga mimi ni mwandishi. Kitu ya pili, nasikiaga mimi naweza tagaza. Kitu ya tatu, mimi naweza kuwa mimi naweza kuwa mchezaji wa video, wa filamu, ningecheza vitu kama hizo. Kwa hivyo niko sawa sana na hizo. Juu hata kuna zingine nilikuwa nafanya bure nikiwa primary school, sikupata hiyo nafasi. Kwa kifupi tu, mimi nikiangalia, juu nimekuwa nikifanya biashara kidogo, nikaangalia nikaona kuna biashara zinasubua watu sana. Biashara iko na season. Nikaona hiyo mimi siwezi fanya, kwa sababu hata yenye nafanya sasa naona kuna venye inanisubua na season, na ni kitu niliweka X. Sasa nikaangalia nikaona watoto wangu ile course watasomea, nitawadvise sana na niwajulisha mapema. Hii kitu December na hizo miezi 3 hii haiwezi kusaidia. Hii nayo siku fulani haiwezi kusaidia. Nataka course ya kujiandika na tena ya full time, January to December. Sasa mimi nikaenda siku moja kama nimeumia mguu. Tulikuwa tunacheza mpira. Nikanunua deep hit 450, kalienda kakaisha. Nikakumbuka nikiwa town ako ka deep hit kameisha. Nikaenda pale Mobi House, kale ka deep hit nikakanunua 130. Nikakaa hapo nikajiuliza, kwani hii kuuza madawa, kwani ni kama kuuza spare? Juu spare unaweza nunua kitu kama giri 10, na hiyo kitu huyo mtu amenunua 2000 ama 3000. Haya, kazi ya spare hainaga January ama December. Hiyo inakuaga ni venye tu dunia ilianza, inakaaga tu hivyo. Ukiingia kwa medicine, ukienda kununua dawa, ukiambiwa ni 500, huwezi sema niko na 300 unless useme huna hiyo pesa uende. Sasa mimi naitaga watoto wangu madaktari. Sasa paka huyu first born amejivunia kuwa daktari, hata namba yake kabuti ya daktari, na anafurahiaga sana nikimuita hivyo. Hiyo kitu anza kuipenda mapema, kitabu afike mahali kujielewa, anasikia hii kitu iko sawa kwangu. Kwa kifupi, juu tuko kwa CBC, wewe jaribu kuangalilia mtoto ka kitu Kenya anaweza fanya, kakitu hakana season, akuwe anafanya hiyo biashara full time, na hata enda mahali kuuliza na makaratasi kuuliza kazi, atajiandika. Kwa sababu huyu mtoto wangu akimaliza, Mungu akuwe ataniwezesha nikose pesa ya kumwekea ile kazi, nitamwambia mtoto wangu, fugua ka chemist kadogo tu, utajiandika. Asanteni sana.
Thank you Bwana Masharia. We need to be in business in all seasons, and we also need to guide. That's if I got you right. Tumepitia mengi, bado tutaendelea kuyapitia, and you know what you yourself you wished you could achieve, na unajua Kajia ulipitia na akakuwa mzuri. So it's upon us to ensure that we guide our children in the right way. As we conclude, it is our duty as a parents, as parents, to guide our children on the career choices based on your experiences and the world and the technology as it evolves. We should support our children in doing their homework. As long as we complain about the CBC, we should support them and of course discipline them accordingly. It is our duty as parents to identify their talents as early as now and teach them the values and work ethics and walk with them through this journey of good values and good morals. And it's also upon us as parents to ensure that our children do not just compare with others or they have unhealthy competition. Mwalimu hapa alisema competition helps to improve on standards. So it is our duty to ensure that we have healthy competition for our children. So as we wind up, I just want to pick something here and say that our education system may not be very perfect. It might not be the best, but within it there are so many opportunities. So it's upon us to tap on these opportunities and identify them for our children. Remember, these people, they are the one who are going to be there for you tomorrow. These are the people that they are going to see you as an old mzee, and they are going to ensure that you live well. So as we talk about this and all the challenges that are there, let's be there for our children. This is a topic that we might not be able to wade up. It's an area that we need expertise, people who are well knowledgeable on this area, and this is the role of the church, that even the church should be able to bring people on board who can be able to educate us and help us make informed decisions for our children. Yes, something you want to mention?
Yeah.
I was almost waiting up. Yes.
Thank you very much. Anything without a pivot cannot work better. Pivot is like supporting. Bwana Mashali amesema kitu ya maana sana kusema it's very good any parent to monitor what her kid likes most. Why am I saying this? I had a boy who had committed a crime somewhere in Kaga Boys in Meru, and he was brought back home. He was charged everything double. You can imagine, I'm relating this story now with my son. You can imagine a food who did the repair with their wheelbarrow, unalipa wheelbarrow mbili, singenge unalipa ni 3, vitu mingi, which costed me to go to bank to hire for a loan to pay the cost. When he came here, I had defended this school we can Wonderland. The boy was very much interested with the agriculture. Akaniuliza dadi unanileta hapa na kuna agriculture. Yani the chat zinakango the subjects. Kaniambia dadi hapana, usiulize hapa mimi sitatosheka. Hapa Wonderland siwa kuna wakati walikuwa na secondary school by the way. Sijui kama iko ama hakuna. Kaniambia dadi wacha. Kama hakuna acha ikae. So that's why I went to bank to look for a loan to cater for that boy. Today as we are talking, this man did fairly well. He went to university, he passed. He was spotted by the issue like on Parangata University. Naitwa nini ila sijui iko hapo Parangata University anaitwa nini. How do you spot with his performance? Today they have employed him somewhere in Kitare working with agriculture. So Mashari, I congratulate you very much for your kid to wear kaputi ya white as a doctor or as a nurse. That will enable him to fly offer the way he wants. My take and the head. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your input, each and every one of us, and actually finding time to come and we have this discussion. I believe it's a discussion that is going to shape the future of our children. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, unless there's someone else who has... Yes, kindly.
Amjabu. Mimi ni Ibrahim, na nasema tu mambo mawili kusema ya kwamba kitu inatuletea shida kwa hii nchi yetu. Vile watu wengi wamesema ni serikali, sababu inaweza kutushikilia kwa hii mambo ya shule. Sababu ikiwa kuna shida kwa upande wa mapato, kuna watu ambao wako na familia na watoto ambao hawana uwezo lakini wanaweza soma. Sasa tunaongea hivi, naweza kuwa kuna mtu akona mwanafunzi kwa nyumba na anaweza kupeleka shule. Sasa tunaongelea kwa wale tunaweza fikisha watoto wetu shule na vile tunaweza wasaidia. Tunaweza shikilia tu vile tutaweza, na sababu imekuwa ni kizungumkuti. Mimi niko na grade 1 na ameingia juzi. Ameingia grade 9 na ameingia hiyo secondary school. Imekuwa ni kizungumkuti. Ni kama kufieka kichaka sisi na walimu na wale tuko grade 9, na pia hii shida ndio inaelekea grade hiyo senior school, bado na kutakuwa na complaints. Tuseme kuna shida, sisi tujaribu ile tutaweza. Lakini hapo umeuliza kama kuna future, mimi naweza kusema iko, sababu kuna watu wanasoma, watu wanaenda hiyo shule na wewe soma kitu kama ile, mwambia ama andike majina za watoto ama majina, hawezi andika kitu yoyote. Hatuwezi fuja huyo mwanafunzi moyo kusema hana future. Kuna kesho, sababu Mungu yuko. Si watu wote wanaweza ingia kwa masomo, sababu tukiangalia CBC ni practical na theory inachanganywa. Tuona ile kitu mwanafunzi labda atakuwa. Kuna mtu hawezi jisomea ile kitu, lakini kwa ile talent Mungu amemweka. Ni vizuri mtu afuatilie mtoto wake ile kitu anafanya wakati yuko shule, unaona vile anafanya, vile unaweza mfanyia, sababu si wote, hata vile tunaongea mambo ya CBC. Kuna wengine wako hapo lakini hawezi jiandikia kitu lolote. Anajua kufanya kitu la mkono, lakini ukimwambia andike kitu ama afanye, hawezi. Ni vile watu wengi hatuwezi ongea hapa. Mimi kuna mtu ako na mtoto kama huyo, amepitia shule lakini hawezi jifanyia hii mambo tunaongea. Tushikilie watoto wetu kwa hiyo mambo ya practical, na tuombe Mungu tu aguze hii serikali. Hii kitu ilianza isikuwe ni ile safari tena, sitaki kusema siasa, isikuwe ile safari tu ya Singapore. Yaangalie mambo ya masomo ikiwa serious. Ione vile inaweza tusaidia kama sisi wazazi. Unasema shule ya wazazi hawana. Kuna mtoto sasa, niseme tu kidogo tu, sitaongea sana. Kuna pale mtoto wangu alikuwa anasomea. Kuna mwanafunzi alikuwa msichana huko. Ilikuwa anakaa anasoma kwa tamu, anasoma kama mwezi moja anafukuzwa. Unasikia alikuja sijui tukifungua, lakini hizi wiki zingine hajasoma. Sasa hii ni nini? Ni serikali kama inaweza ingia itusaidie baada ya masomo. Juzi tunaulizana sisi wenyewe walimu na wazazi hapa, lakini serikali haiko hapa. Kwa hivyo hata kesho tutaamkia walimu nini kinaendelea, hiyo homework ni nini. Sasa Mungu tu atuombe Mungu tu mambo ikuwe sawa. Sisi wenyewe hatuwezi, tunajaribu tu, lakini mtu ajaribu pahali ataweza. Juu hata mwalimu hiyo ndio kitu wanafanya. Hata walimu mnaona wako na kazi ngumu. Juu hawajasomea hii kitu bado. Ukienda kwa shule, mimi niko nao. Mimi nianza hiyo grade 7. Na sasa niko hiyo senior school. Nimepambana na naona iko na shida kwa walimu, kwa wanafunzi na kwetu sisi kama wazazi. Ni Mungu tu asaidie tupate njia. Asanteni kwa kunisikiza. Kama nimechukua muda wenu mnisamehe.
No, that's okay, Bwana Ibrahim, and thank you for your contribution. It's something that we cannot take for granted for your contribution. So in short, it is our collective responsibility to ensure that our children, they learn and they grasp what is required of them. So we've come to the closure of our discussion today, and this is a discussion that some of the points, and I know our secretary, the Kama secretary, yes, ndio huyo hapo, you'll try to draft for us some of the points that we had, so we can post it even for the other men on the wall, so that each and every one of us is able to follow through. And we will not leave it at this. Some of these things we are going to recommend even to our vicar, so that in future we can be able to have this forum with expertise in this area, people who are professions in this area. So these are discussions that we need to keep alive, so that our children get the best. And with that, so many remarks. Asanteni sana, gentlemen. I want to invite Mashwa to close for us. Alafu kuna mtu hajaongea leo na niye anatuombea ugali. Mashwa, unaona nani hajaongea juu?
I think we can just spare them today. Kizungu imekuwa mingi.
Ndio shida. Kizungu. Sasa kama huyu mzee ameongea na kizungu yake ndio inakuwaga shida. Ako sawa. So yeah, so Mr. Patrick.
Okay, just the way we started, we are just going to wind up. First of all, I thank each and every one of you for your time, for your participation, for being among us. And this is a fellowship we birthed out of our own thinking, and we are going miles. Is it true? This is the first session we have gone online. How do you know? Maybe we shall go international in years to come. So never underestimate your humble beginnings, because we never know where we are going to. Maybe you can even breed great people in this fellowship. We don't know. It's only take the grace of God. So Paul will give us some worship songs. Then we have a prayer. As we add up the session, we say thank you to the vicar who has given us the host, the coverage, and each and everything that he has facilitated to us. We also thank you, men, for what you have done. Keep it up. And let's, in the next session, we shall communicate and come up with points. Come up being ready. Be bold to say what you have in your heart. Don't go with it at home. Because when you go at home, you have a dialogue between you and your wife, and you will never sort the issues which are affecting the nation. So come here, let's have a place where we can pour in a way forward for the nation. Also for the men in clock, there are two there, Mina and Meshach. We thank you because you have been there covering us in the realm of the spirit. We thank you so much. So Paul, to you. We can stand.
Okay. pokea sifa. Hakuna mwingine ila ni wewe tu. Ndani ya mawimbi tunakuinua jemedari, ndani ya ukame bado tunasema wewe ni Ebeneza. Jehova, katika mapito yote tunasema Mungu tembea nasi, kila saa tushike, tupite nawe kila wakati. Wakati ambapo kuna upungufu, wakati ambapo kuna kiangazi, wakati ambapo kuna mshuko wa nchi, Baba tembea nasi. Ndio maana tunasema asante. Jemedari, uanza na sisi katika ile shamba la Edeni, ukatupatia mvuto wa aina yake, ukasema ye mwanadamu, inuka na nimekupatia haya yote uweze kuyafanya yako, na uweze kupanda na kushuka na kuinua jina langu kila siku. Ndio Baba, umetupatia familia, umetupatia hata jamii, umetupatia hata wana. Mungu Baba, tunakuita siku ya leo, tunasema hakuna mwingine kama wewe. Mungu, katika nchi ya Kenya sisi Baba tunao uwezo wa kubadilisha maisha ya watoto wetu, na ndio maana tunalete ugamano kama hili kujadili mambo ya masomo, elimu ambayo inaonekana iko na mashimo pale na kule, lakini wewe Mungu jaza hayo mashimo. Wewe Mungu vumisha, wewe Mungu rainisha, wewe Mungu fanya uwezo wako, na wewe wacha ukatuinue. Hata wazazi ambao hawana uwezo wa kupeleka watoto wao katika shule za upili, fanya njia Baba. Mungu, kumbuka wazee ambao wako hapa wa St. Clement, Jehovah God. They have come here to seek wisdom, they have come here to seek advice, they have come here to search for your spiritual nourishment. Oh God, intervene. Remember them in their lives. Remember them each and every time they walk in and walk forward. Remember our great man who is the Reverend Andrew Jack. Jehovah God, in his ways flourishes in the mighty name of Jesus. Let him shine, Jehovah God. Beautify his life in the mighty name of Jesus. Let that cover he has given unto us also inflict into our families, into our children, God. Let's walk with the favor and let's start pressing from him, Jehovah God. We are asking for expansion of fellowship, Jehovah God. May we cover more. May we do natural ways. May we create men in this fellowship, Jehovah God. You know their destinies, Jehovah God. Some have been covered for many years, some have been undermined, Jehovah God, but this is their time to take back their mantles. Oh God, whatever we discuss, whatever we view, whatever we have as inspiration in our hands, let it come to happen. We thank you for this night, and we thank you for walking with us the 3 weeks of January. Like now we are winding up the month of January. May we be triumphant in the mighty name of Jesus. May we see resources which were being channeled and hidden by the devil be open today. And this week may it be fruitful in one way or the other. That on Sunday we shall sing the words of blessing. That on Sunday we shall be cheerful. That on Sunday we shall come to the sanctuary saying, thank you, God. Bless these men. Bless their family. Bless their children. Bless their future. And always walk with them. May we always be in the beauty and the household of God. We pray this believing and trusting your Son Jesus Christ. Amen and amen and amen. Shake somebody's hand. One be the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen and amen and amen. Mumebarikiwa. Asanteni.
Yes, so as we wait up, we had a fellowship. We can have a sorrowship. Now this is time to have a sorrowship and a karaoke. Can you ombea hii sorrowship hii ugali so that we can sorrow together? Na tukimaliza, I'll give you the way forward. Karaoke ombea ugali.